bated breath, I'm watching and waiting. My eyes wide open, I'm anticipating what the Lord's prepared in that heavenly place. Wonderful sights I'm longing to see. The Lord will be there just to welcome me, and when He calls, I'll be gone without a trace. Living on the edge of His soon returning, trusting in His promise. Soon I will be leaving. All His words fulfilling like He said. Living on the edge where the living is easy. Faith is getting stronger. Nothing here will hold me. I can see the lights of home ahead. Living on the edge.
My name is Donna Frankie. This is Frankie King. We're your hosts for Living on the Edge with Donna and Frankie. And thank you so much for listening. I know you could be doing a lot of things right now, but you're listening to us. And we definitely appreciate that, don't we, Frankie?
We do.
Frankie, did you have a good day?
I did. I had a fun day today.
I can tell. I can always tell she's had a fun day. She's got that mischievous look on her face.
I didn't work all day.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. No plowing the fields.
I'm supposed to be retired.
Well, that's what Phil says. Phil says, I'm supposed to be retired, Mom, and doing all this stuff. That's because you want to do all this stuff. We have a special guest with us today.
We do. And we go back a long, long way. Mr. Donny Johnston, he has so many talents. He's a musician, a singer, a pastor, former pastor, and he has gotten the burden to help people, and he started something brand new, and it's called, what is it called?
Helpling Hands. Helpling Hands.
Can you see that?
It's a mission center and an outlet store.
And they do all kinds of things, and they are needing some things from you. If you are bored and you want to serve in some way and help the community, help people, then he's going to be telling you about some needs that they have, and maybe you could get involved, and it will make you feel wonderful to be able to help somebody.
That's right. Every day is an adventure, and I say life's an adventure because every day you look at something or you see something, and I'm always on the lookout of who can I help next,
Mm-hmm.
who can I be assist to next, and that's one of our prayers.
This man right here, I've been knowing him since he was just a kid. And I will never forget, he was able to get up and recite every book of the Bible. And you were how old, Donnie, at that time?
Oh, goodness. 8.
At 8
About
years
8
old, he knew every book in the Bible. He's got to have an incredible mind to be able to do that.
Don't ask me to do it now.
I was wondering about that today. If you
She's
could
gonna
still
put you on
do
the
that.
Yeah, she's going to put me on the spot.
Take your now.
You know, the older we get, the harder things like that are. But we go back to when we both really were kids, but more especially he was a kid. His dad was our pastor, and they were just a wonderful family, and we've got so many fond memories of them. And we didn't know that years later we'd be sitting here and he would be telling about the things he's involved in. And you know, I just was thinking about how he just has to have a heart for God to be able to do all the things he does and things he wants to do for the kingdom of God and to help people. And it warms my heart to meet people like that give so much of themselves. And so, Donnie, you started this all because of why?
A vision. Had a vision of that there were so many hurting people in our area who were not being taken care of. And in the in a lot of the areas that we have of the thrift stores and different places, they're governed by someone outside the facilities, and therefore they don't have the liberty to
Make that decision
on the spot right then.
To provide assistance to somebody standing there in front of you.
Absolutely.
That's in need.
Absolutely. And that's a big thing for us. Whether it's taking somebody to the doctor, or supplying gas money for somebody to go to the doctor, or building a handicap ramp, or financial assistance, or go get them a box of food. Our main partnerships that we have all across our mission center is with the local churches. All of our local churches, I have a partnership with them in one way or another, that we work together to supply all of these things. For instance, I had a guy or a client, I should say, he needed a platform built for his recliner. 28 by 20, just a little 4-inch platform. I called one of the neighboring churches. I said, can you build this platform and take it to him and set it up? Sure. And I called him back this day before yesterday. I said, did they get the platform fixed? He said, oh yes. And it had been a prayer answered. On the spot, on the minute, and it happened. And that helps meet so many needs.
Well, sometimes there's a situation, maybe somebody will have a heart attack or a stroke, and they need a ramp walking
absolutely.
up to their homes, and so you do that too.
We do those too. Absolutely. And it's when a person has been homebound and not able to get out, and you supply that liberty, that freedom, for them just to be able to roll out and go out in the yard and feel the sunshine in their face.
That's a big deal
By
when you've been in
themselves.
the house, just,
It is.
days
We
at a
take
time.
it for granted, but
Yes.
the isolation that a person like that would feel, and feeling so disconnected. And you have some expertise in all that kind of work too, as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have taken some classes to help keep up with the codes and the ADA regulations, things of that nature for grab bars. The worst place for a person to fall when they have a disability: showers, bathroom, getting out of bed. Nobody ever thinks about, putting a grab bar beside your bed so that you can grab onto it to get your balance, to get up. But it's just to me, it's something I take for granted. But for somebody that's disabled, it's a relief, and it's something. Well, I never thought about putting one there. I never thought about.
Well, my grandmother she broke her hip, and so the family got her one of those lift chairs, and just
Oh, yes.
that was just. She was so appreciative to have a lift chair
Oh,
to help her
absolutely.
get up and get out.
Absolutely. At the store, we have medical equipment, we have furniture, we have loads of clothes, and we have toys, appliances. We've started taking appliances, and we can pretty much supply a house with a lot of different things as they come available, that people may need. And we can't do it. We couldn't do it without your help and without the help of the community, because people are so generous when they start cleaning out closets and cleaning out garages and sheds and barns and things of that nature. And we've even had some folks that maybe had a loved one pass away and they had an estate sale, and they'd call us after it was over with and say, hey, can you come bring a truck and get all of this stuff?
So you'd come and pick it up.
We would go pick it up under certain circumstances. We do.
I'm so glad to hear that, because I have stuff in my car for you. I meant to get over there today with it. So.
We have them bring it to school, and I carry it from school also. It's and I don't turn anything down.
And the store is so neat. They keep it so neat. And Cynthia is the one. She's actually your cousin.
She's my cousin.
And she keeps everything so neat. Donnie may help too, but I've been there, and it's really neat and easy to see and get around in.
We're a thrift store. We're not a junk store.
It's a difference.
And there's a difference.
And I like them all.
Yeah.
I like
peddling.
People can come in and we've been blessed. Let me just give you a little history about it. We started out with this vision, and we started out with a 50-foot box trailer. Worked out of that for a year. Then a church came along with us and partnered with us and said, we got some property. We want to donate the property. So they donated the property. Another church came by and said, after the storms of 2011, they had some portable classrooms. And when they got through with them, they said, we want to donate one. So they donated. And so we built it, built in between it, as we had finances to do it, and got it all built. This year, in February, we built onto that building another half the size of what it is. Then we built, in May, we had another portable classroom, 24 by 30, donated to us for storage.
Great.
This week, we had another portable classroom, 24 by 40, donated to us. We don't have it moved yet. And everything we've got over there, the Lord has provided for us. He's just, he gives it to us as we need it.
Right.
And that's the way we've come to accept whatever we get. I tell them, I said, if we get it, somebody needs it. That's our philosophy. Sometimes we get things in and we think, what are we going to do with this? And I'll give you, for instance, we had a guy come in with some of this nutritional drinks for people on feeding tubes. I had no idea what I would do with that. I did not know anyone who could use it. I didn't know anyone. I called some of the organizations that we partner with. We partner with home health. We partner with hospice. We partner with some of the law enforcement agencies and supplying clothes for children and things like that when they get taken from their parents. And I didn't know what I was going to do with this stuff. I thought, who would want this? And because you couldn't drink it.
And it was taking up inventory space.
It's taking up space. And I was getting ready to go home, lock up and go home last Friday night. This gentleman came in, couldn't talk, above a whisper. And so we're talking, or I'm talking to him, and he bought a couple of items, and he was walked around the corner and he seen this stack of boxes. He said, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "Do you know someone that can use it?" He said, "I can." I said, "It's yours." And so, we were able to give him
That's a big blessing to him.
4 cases of nutritional food for him because he was a client that he had to buy it all.
Well,
So
those kind of items, do you just give those?
absolutely,
Okay.
yes. Most of our medical equipment, walkers, walking sticks, wheelchairs, support hose, a lot of, we've got diapers, and a lot of that kind of stuff we do give away. Because medical expenses are so expensive.
The insurance doesn't pay for everything.
No, medical insurance does not pay for it. We've given away hospital beds, lift chairs, like you were talking about. We usually we have one available at different times. Sometimes they're not in the best of shape, but when you don't have anything,
It makes a big difference.
it makes a difference. As long as it works. I don't want to sell anything that's going to give somebody trouble, 2 days later, or give them anything that's going to cause them trouble. It's just a hardship on top of it, and I try not to do that. Frankie, she said we've known each other for a long time, and I like for things to work right before it leaves the store. It doesn't matter what it is. If you come in and get a lamp, I want that lamp to burn.
And
I
you
want the
can
lights to
handle
work,
that, can't you?
and I usually can handle it.
You don't want to promote that part, but you can do.
No, let's
Don't
not
listen to
promote.
this part.
Because you are an electrician,
Right.
And a plumber.
Right.
But don't call him because he's in ministry now.
I'm not. Yes. Now, if you want to donate your appliances, and they're tore up, I may work on them
Yeah.
and take care of that. But because that's how we get our appliances is someone has replaced them, and we take them in, check them out, make sure that they're functioning properly before we send them back out.
Now, you also offer transportation for people who have to go to the doctor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of times, people's kids work, or maybe, a lot of times the kids live in another state, and so the kids can't take care of the parents.
Absolutely.
So you offer that.
Well, it's not only just for going to the doctor. We have one client that doesn't drive very far, and sometimes we have to take her dog to the vet. But she lives alone, and her dog is her companion. Dogs, cats, things like that. They're very attached to them, and
I'm sitting here nodding my head because that's our life.
I don't take that lightly.
I'm glad you don't, because really, our dog, he's part of our family. He's like our
Absolutely.
kid.
And it is for especially someone who lives alone, and
It's companionship.
it's companionship. My grandmother had birds, so she said if she had to do over again, she probably wouldn't ever get them, but she had birds for a long time. She was attached to them.
And the animals have feelings too.
Oh, absolutely.
My grandmother had a dog. His name was Dumpy. You could about imagine why she fed him all the time. So it was a pretty hefty dog. When she passed away, that dog missed her.
Oh, absolutely.
He would come to the door and see if it was her driving that.
Oh, absolutely. Animals are a big part of our lives, more than what we realize.
Yeah.
I've got animals myself, and I could tell you stories about them, things that I've experienced with them there at my house, and how they not only connect with us as humans, but they connect with each other.
Well, I've told Frankie before, like I could be having a rough day and then come home, and Buddy's just a little more loving that day. For some reason, he just wants to cuddle with you.
Absolutely.
They have feelings, they can sense it.
They can.
So yeah, don't be ashamed of that, because those animals are a really big part of it.
They are.
And they're such a beautiful part of God's creation. I know they're not on the same level as humans, but I just marvel at the things they do and the instinct they have, you know, and God put that there, and I just enjoy watching them because I see God in that.
Yeah.
What else do you do, Donnie, besides the things we've talked about?
Well, I'm in a cross ministry, which has been a great joy. Going from
Did my
church to
cross
church.
disappear?
She's lost her cross.
She's lost her
Oh,
cross.
there it is.
I'm gonna have to give her another one.
Okay, I lost it. And you make these.
I have a friend who makes those,
Okay.
and we've given away about 100,000 of them.
Wow.
And I can tell you, let me tell you a couple of stories about it that was just really thrilled my heart. I had a story come to me just a couple of weeks ago. I was in a church, and I'd done a cross presentation, and at the end of the service, I strode the crosses out across the front, and I had everybody to come and pick up as many as they wanted. And so one of the families, they came by, they picked up several, I don't know how many. They had a little 4-year-old boy, and his mom and the little boy, they had gone to town, and sometime during the day, they were walking through the store, through the aisles, and all of a sudden, the little boy, he's 4, and he says, "Mama," said, "I need a cross. I got to go give it to that man." Mm-hmm. And she said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yes, I've got to go give it to him." And so she gets one out of her purse, and she gives it to him. And she's at one end of the aisle, and he goes running down to the aisle to the gentleman, and he gives him a cross, and happens to be a Hispanic. And he gave him the cross, and he said, "This is what Jesus has done for me." He gave him the cross, and he turned around and run back to his mama.
Out of the mouth of babes.
And he, the Hispanic guy, he started speaking something. They didn't understand what he said, but he was so delighted that he could go give that man a cross. I said, you know, it had to be the calling of the Holy Spirit for that little boy to say, "I got to do it right now." Mm-hmm. You know.
And that breaks language barriers. Everybody knows what the cross is.
Oh, absolutely. Well, not everyone. Most people, there's a lot of folks that wear them. But when you ask someone, "Do you know what the cross means?" you'll have people that says, "No, I do not."
They just wear it for a fashion statement.
They wear it for a fashion statement, yes. And then, let me tell you one more. I was at the funeral home a few weeks back, and this young lady, she was a teenager, and she had been under my ministry in times past, and so her family member had passed away, and she was sitting there at the head of the casket. And, as I started to leave, somebody asked me, said, "Hey, preacher, you got any crosses?" And I said, "I don't know. Let me go look." And so I went out the car, and I got a coffee can, and I carried it back in. I went into the parlor where the young lady was at, and I opened the lid up, and I said, "Do you remember what these are?" She said, "Oh, yes." And she grabbed a handful of it. She said, "And I know what to do with them." You know, I said, you know, even in the midst of all the sorrow and her grief, there was an excitement about giving away a cross. And just...
That's a seed that you had planted, and I'm sure that made you feel so good.
Oh, I just, yes, I rejoiced about it. It was so much fun.
Just like Paul, he rejoiced over Church of Thessalonians. Even though he only got two weeks time there, he kept checking back on them and exhorting them to do good works.
Yes, he did.
And so if anybody's out there and they kind of are bored, dreading the winter, what are some of the ways that they could help your ministry? What's your needs right now?
Some of the things that we could use, one is we could use someone that was a computer tech, I guess you want to say, who would be willing to take pictures of items that we have at the store and put them on Buy, Sell, and Trade or Facebook or Marketplace or somewhere and maintain it. I don't have the time nor the
inclination.
The
He can't sit still.
I can't sit still long enough for that. But it'd be wonderful. He had someone that, because it would do so much for us in light of bringing customers into the store from around.
That way they could see inside.
They could see more than, yes.
And you know, when you put it out there, somebody wants it.
Oh, absolutely.
On Facebook Marketplace, you can put your things on there, and really all you need is a phone. And you just take pictures and download it straight to Marketplace. So it wouldn't take a lot of experience or ability to do that. So if you can do that, you need to see Donnie.
Yes.
And do you sometimes need people that can help transport people back and forth?
We do that. We're always looking for partnerships for all kinds of things. We need partnerships for transportation. We haven't done a whole lot of respite care, which is a calling of going and sitting with someone. Do you know somebody that's homebound? Somebody that can't get out? And if they trust you enough to come in and sit with their loved one and let them go to the grocery store.
Just because family members need, some time off too.
Absolutely. Family members need that time out. Or go to dinner, go to lunch. It's such a blessing. It's such a joy to be able to, for people to be able to do that. And we do have some volunteers that would do that for them. We have volunteers, and we need more volunteers. We need volunteers that come in and help sort clothes, especially at this time of the year. We have a lot of clothes that need to be sorted through, and
maybe the summer stuff out of the way, and put the winter stuff in. I imagine you're looking for coats and gloves and socks and
we are
boots
constantly,
and stuff too, aren't you?
Because there's always a place to disperse them. That's one thing we try to do. We try to make good use of everything that comes in. It doesn't matter what it is. You say, well, it's soiled, it's torn, the shoes are worn out, things of that nature. If the shoes don't have a hole in it, they're not worn out. They may not look the best, but somebody would be glad to use them. And we've given away several pairs of them because of it. And our clothes are the same way. We may not can use them there in the store. But we have a resource where that they can be used. And so we don't discard anything. Most everything we have is usable somewhere or another.
Well, sometimes somebody is homebound and they can't go anywhere, but they could repurpose those clothes. Maybe, they're sitting at home, they could make a quilt out of it. Or...
We have actually had people come in and take our clothes and wash them.
Oh, nice.
I was wondering about that. If you had washers and dryers there.
We do have them. We have one there, but we haven't done
have
it.
time to do it, I'm sure, because that does take time.
That does take time, and but that's one of the needs we have is for for volunteers to come in and help there at the store. Always looking for partnerships for carpentry work. If when the need comes up, the thing about this is so many times that need comes up at the most inopportune time.
Always. That's life.
We're never ready for it. We're never ready to stop what we're doing and give up what we're doing and take the time to go do it, whatever it may be. Just for instance, yesterday I got a phone call of a lady that lives by herself, and you know what she needs? Somebody to come over and program her TV. That's all she needs. Somebody to come in and program her TV. She said, I can't read, and so I don't know how. So I'm hoping tomorrow I have time to go to her house and program a TV. It's on antenna. It's a simple process. But she said, you don't know what it's like to have to sit here day in and day out with nothing on, nothing to entertain you, nothing to
watch
break
the weather or the news
or anything. And so little things means a lot to some people. And we can all do mission work. Yes. We can all do, and it's not just going and doing the great big things. I've been a member of the Alabama Baptist Disaster Relief for 14 years. And we go when there's tornadoes and hurricanes and ice storms and all of this kind of stuff.
The most inopportune times.
In the most inopportune time. Matter of fact, they called us today asking, can we go to Tennessee? Most people didn't know that there's a little town in Tennessee that was hit with a very big storm 3 weeks ago.
It just didn't make the headlines.
Didn't make the headlines. 64 people, I understand 64 people got killed.
My goodness.
In this little town. And it was a storm that was 15 miles wide. And they're still doing cleanup.
I remember when that storm came through, but I didn't realize that.
We've already been up there once. She called me today and said, can you go again next week? So we're going to try to get a team together and go back again and help put tarps on and roofs on.
I would imagine when the weather's really cold, like we just had so much cold weather these past few days, people forget to leave the water running, maybe bursted pipes. I'm pretty sure you get calls on that too.
Our water was froze at the center.
Yeah.
Because I didn't wrap the pipes.
You didn't leave the water running.
I didn't leave the water running. No, I didn't.
So we need to come help you with your pipes.
And the vents was open. How's that?
Oh my goodness. That was something.
So as far as any outreach, as far as biblically or ministry, as far as the church, that kind of thing, do you do any of that at the center? As far as witnessing.
Oh yes.
and-
Oh yes. Yes. Uh, it's always amazing how that the Lord really works things out for you. Last Saturday night, I was getting ready to close early. One reason is because I wanted to get home and watch the ball game, but
And that didn't work out. too
that
good,
didn't work
did it?
out well.
So that was
No.
okay.
That was okay. Actually, I was going to leave at 4:30. I was going to cut out a little early, and I had a customer to come in, and when they came in, they were just kind of running through the store, picking stuff up and getting things together and laying them on the counter that they were going to buy. And one thing led to another, and she began to just pour her heart out to us. And we had the opportunity to pray with her that day. Some weeks before that, we had another opportunity to pray with another customer that came in. And the amazing thing about it is that when someone comes in with that kind of a need, nobody else comes in.
Isn't that amazing?
We're never disturbed when that happens. And we had one lady that came in. We had another customer come in that rededicated her life to the Lord because of it. And we get to see that happen quite often. And the only reason we can do that, Frankie and Donna, is there's a verse that I live by. I have claimed this verse of Scripture as my personal prayer for every day, and it's a very popular prayer and a very short prayer, but it covers a whole lot of ground, and it can be taken in so many applications. And it's 1 Chronicles chapter 4 and verse 10. It's the prayer of Jabez, and he prayed unto the Lord of Israel, and 4 requests that he made. Number 1, he made a request unto the Lord. He said, first of all, I want you to bless me indeed. Bless me a lot. And, you may think people may think, hey, you're selfish when you pray for that, but you're not really. We need God's blessings.
That's not just talking about money.
That's not talking about money. That's just God's blessings in general. Jabez didn't care how he blessed him, where he blessed him, what he blessed him with, or, who blessed him. He just wanted God's blessings. And so that was the first thing that he said, God bless me, and bless me a lot. And I look around every day, and I see God blessing me every day. Some days I have a hard day, and I work hard, but I still see the blessings of the Lord. Then the second thing Jabez prayed, he said, expand or enlarge my coast, enlarge my territory. And some folks say, well, aren't you doing enough? It's not a matter of what we're doing enough. It's let our influence be expanded. Let our territory be expanded. Let it cover more area. And Jabez prayed that prayer. Expand, enlarge my coast. And it's not a matter of, I don't want to do more. I just want to do what I do better. And that's enlarging my coast. And in the mission center, in the mission field, it's the same way. When we start praying for God to enlarge our coast, look out. Because you're going to step back and you're going to think, how did this happen? When we go back and reflect on all the things that the Lord has given us there at Helpling Hands Outlet Store and Mission Center, and when we see all that He's already given to us, and all that He's already done, and the people that we've been able to help, He's enlarged our coast. That was the second thing. The third thing Jabez prayed for, he said, let your hand be upon me. I don't want to do anything without the hand of the Lord on it. Because if I've got God's hand on it, it's his stamp of approval. It may not go like I want it to go. We don't have a building over there like I envisioned, but it's what God wanted us to have. And it works. And that makes the difference. And so he prayed that prayer, let your hand be with me. Let it be upon it. And so because he prayed that, you know, God done a work in Jabez's life that he didn't do it in anybody else's. I mean, there's 40 names that's already been listed down through the genealogy of Israel till he gets to Jabez. And then he prayed. Then Jabez, God said, "Wait a minute, I got to say something about him." And so he stops there and he records Jabez's prayer. The third thing, he told us that let your hand be upon me. Then the fourth thing, he said, keep me from evil, that it doesn't grieve me. Keep me from evil. Sometimes when we think of the evil, and we think of the evil in this world, it has to start somewhere. Where does it start? It starts in our heart. It starts in our thoughts. It starts maybe in what we're looking at. And Jabez said, hey, keep me from evil. And so that's the verse that I live by. Because the last part of that verse, and God granted him his request. He answered his prayer. Simple as that. And I think today that in my life, in what I'm doing, I'm not doing it for myself, and I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it because God is worthy of all the glory. And that verse is the verse that I live by. And I pray that verse not only for me, but I pray it for the Mission Center. When we pray that prayer, I pray it for the Mission Center. Because I want God to bless the Mission Center. When we enlarge the territory or enlarge our coast, Lord, let us help somebody today. And there's not a day goes by that when we pray that prayer, that he will send somebody for us to help. And if he sends them, then he's given us the ability to help them. I had as I said, that's my motto. I prayed that prayer this morning before I went to the center, before we opened up. And about 10 o'clock, a lady called me and said, call me back this evening. I need some help. I don't know what she needs, but I will call her back sometime later on in the afternoon, evening.
But you can volunteer and help people.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was thinking about the teenagers, the kids that graduate out of high school that don't look for a job. And you know what the man sitting across the desk is going to say? What's your experience?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is a great way to gain some experience, is to go in, and people are always looking for somebody who's a team player anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be perceived as a team player.
Absolutely.
Because you're helping other people.
Absolutely. And we've actually had court referrals of young men who had to go to court and they had to do community services. And they'd send them out there to us and say, hey, we need these guys to go to work. And so they're there by they're there by force, but they leave with a whole lot more.
Because they're seeing an example of another life.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I hope that we make a difference in that life. I hope we make a difference in being able to
I'm sure you are.
be an influence to them, because
Well, people are always looking for something, and they're always looking for something better than what they have.
when you can give somebody a positive encouragement or a positive word that they can hang on to, I could ask you guys, what's your positive word that you hang on to, maybe in some time past, that got you over the hump, that helped you out during a hard time. There was someone or something or a verse or something that has always, that's positive, that would help somebody. And we try to help the physical as much as the spiritual. Now, not everybody you can help, but the society we live in today, yes, we have to be good stewards, and I will say that up front. There are things that we do have to investigate. We do have to watch what we're doing. We have to take care of the Lord's money just like it was, as much as possible. But we're not governed by somebody else that says you can't do this, you can't do that, and that makes a big difference. I enjoy looking back now. I wish I could have gotten into this 20 years ago. And I probably could have if I'd have just really paid attention.
Well, sometimes in the busyness of life, we don't see those things that we could be doing to help
Oh,
people
absolutely.
out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Are you saying that you're getting more opportunities to help people and to minister outside of the church?
Oh, absolutely.
Because it seems like that people aren't going to church like they did when we were growing up.
Right.
There's so many things that draw interest away.
Right.
And so I think that it's wonderful to get outside of the church and be Jesus with skin on.
But I'm the church extension. People come to me
We are the church.
when they won't go to a church, and
They see the goodness
and
of the Lord.
I'm the go-between. Just like I gave you the example a while ago about the church that built the platform. Those folks are tickled to death because that church came in and done that. All I done was just, organize it.
Nathan, the need.
I made it happen.
Yeah.
I just made it happen. And yes, they were grateful for us for making it happen, but it let the church get outside the walls. It let the church get outside the doors and do something. And we get to do that a lot, especially with the food ministry. We get to do food resources. All of our food resources come through the channels of the church, of different churches. It's according to what area that person lives in. We have churches available who have food resources in different areas of the county, in DeKalb and Jackson. And if family gets, just say if a family gets burnt out and lose everything, we can get them a box of groceries tonight. Because we got churches in the areas that have that resource.
And there's another thing too about life is just so much different than it used to be when we were growing up. Like we knew how to plant a garden, And, you can put a seed in it and grow, have tomatoes and things like that. But a lot of people don't anymore.
No.
But I've thought a lot of times about how neat it would be to have some kind of a community garden where you would teach people how to do that. You know, it's a lot of, you ask a kid where food comes from, the grocery store.
You're right. They do.
So that would be a ministry too within itself, just to teach people, you know, how to grow.
Life skills. I mean,
Yes.
so much of that's not taught in school, where we used to have home ec and you know,
Right.
and a lot more common sense.
Yeah.
Our society does. They're technically savvy, but they don't have common sense.
Oh.
It's just a different society.
It's a whole different world. But we need to know those primary skills, though, in order to survive.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And maybe on down the road we could start that. And we could start something in that general area. But
You
because
gotta have time, though, 'cause you got a lot on your plate
Well-
right now.
It's always, you need time, people, and money. That's the three things that you have to have, and there's only one Donnie, so.
well, all I do is I organize it. I do have volunteers, and I do have my cousin Cynthia, who helps run the store, and have a couple other people that help me with heavy lifting type things. I have a team that builds handicap ramps already in place, but it's always good to have more to come along beside them and help them build those ramps. Or any other carpentry work that needs to be done. I said we have partnerships with the food. That's in place and readily.
Now, where are you located?
We are located at 86 Gin Road, Dutton. And it's actually right beside the post office,
Okay.
the new post office in Dutton.
You can see it from Highway 71.
Yes.
If you come to the post office, if you look kind of in behind it just a little bit, the next building from the post office is their building.
We have a big red sign out on the highway.
Can't miss it. Now, do you also have a retail area where Frankie and I can come and
Absolutely.
buy stuff? Okay.
That's it.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Hey. And we're constantly turning over our inventory, constantly changing up and getting new stuff in. That's a constant thing. And like you said, coats is a big thing right now.
Yeah.
In a few weeks, it'll really be a big thing. People's not real. This little cold spell we had this week.
He's calling it a cool. It was cold.
It was
Well.
pretty chilly.
And I worked outside in it, so
Oh my goodness, yeah.
it was pretty cold.
But you could use anybody with skills.
I can use anybody-
carpentry, plumbing.
I can use anybody without skills.
Uh-huh.
If they can sort clothes, we can.
There you
If
go.
you can tell a short sleeve from a long sleeve, I don't care what color it is. You can be colorblind and still
You can-
still work out there. I guess, and we do get so many clothes in. And let me just let me do say this: it does take, volunteers. It takes people that, and we do need someone that can help us on the website, computer aspect of it, that has the time to do it and keep it maintained so that it can be marked off or deleted when it's sold or however.
Well, I know they could do that.
That's a
Any guy who's retired and you're telling your wife how to clean the house, you might need a hobby.
you might need a hobby. That would be good. You
That
know.
would be good.
Just come up there and we can arrange it. And we are getting ready to get our new building and get it set up. And yes, it does take finances to do all of that. As I said, the Lord has really blessed us to where we're at and what we're doing, and how wonderful that is. But we can always enlarge our coast. When we enlarge it, it brings more people, it brings more glory unto the Lord, and we're able to help more folks.
Now, what are your store hours, Donnie?
Our store hours is, good question, is from 9 to 2 on Thursday and Friday, and 9 to 5 on Saturday. I drive a school bus also, and so about 2 o'clock is the latest I can.
Well, I'm going to tell
Be
you
there.
what. I've always said school bus drivers don't get you guys are really it, because think of the kids they grow up in a rough family life, and you're the first face they see.
Oh, absolutely.
That smiling face, and that's going to help them with their school. We had the best school bus driver. And so every day we'd get up, we were always the last ones off and the first ones on in the morning. Miss Freeman, Miss Barbara Freeman, she watches the show. And Miss Freeman, you were awesome, because this is what she would do. She would say, "Did you do your homework? You got a test. Now you told me you had a test." She would just do little extra things like that. And kids need encouragement.
Oh, absolutely.
You're the perfect person for that.
Yes.
I drive for 5 special services, and so we don't transport as many students, but I love my kids,
Yeah.
and
And I bet they love you too.
and we have a good relationship between our kids and our parents, and it's just a really good time.
Well, I think it's time for us to close. This has been fast. I tell you
Okay.
what, lots of great information out there. Donnie, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Frankie, and it's always good to be with you again. And
I got me a new buddy here. Now.
Come in.
Got me a new friend.
come and see us over at Helpling Hands out in the store Mission Center, and browse through, see what we got, see what's going on, and in the next couple of weeks we'll have another building over there.
Have any Christmas stuff in right now?
We sold every piece of Christmas stuff that we had at the yard sale Labor Day weekend. And so our Christmas stuff is very limited right now. We may get a lot in now.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they need Christmas stuff.
And their prices are really good.
That's great. Well, Donnie, again, thank you. Anything else you'd like to say before we close?
Come see us, and if you can volunteer and help in any way, we'd love for you to be a partner with us. And if you can't do a hands-on and you'd like to make a donation, you can do that. But we need hands-on. We need people working together.
By the way, I'm glad you said about donations. It dawned on me now. You're able to the donations you get a tax write-off on. Are you able
Oh, absolutely.
to do that?
Yes.
So that's a big thing. We're coming up on
Yes.
the end of the year, so keep that in mind. Before
Absolutely.
December 31st, go make some donations.
It's great being with you again, Frankie. And you done it's great to meet
Thank you.
And Ronnie, thank you over there for all that stuff you do over there. You guys have a great day, and look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Y'all take care.
I can see the lights of home ahead, living on the edge, living on the edge of it, soon returning, trusting in His promise. Soon I will be leaving, all His words fulfilling like He said. Living on the edge where the living is easy, faith is getting stronger, nothing here to hold me. I can see the lights of home ahead, living on the edge. It's good 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 living on the edge. soon returning, trusting in his promise. Soon I will